Cameron Fontana is live in our newsroom. And Cam, what should we make sure we have in our car this morning so we are ready for the deep freeze?
You know, Adam, we spoke to a few auto experts, and there are quite a few just simple things you can have that can save you in the upcoming extreme conditions. First, it's a great idea. You really need to have some Lock de-icer spray. It's less than $2 at any local store. And also, you'll want to throw in either a flattened cardboard box or some cheap cat litter, because both of those can get you some traction under the wheels if you do get stuck in the snow. Now, it's always a good idea, in case you get stranded, to have a blanket, things like some snacks, some water, even your medications. You don't want to go for an extended amount of time without them. And finally, if you are stranded, you definitely want to make sure you clear out the snow out of your exhaust pipe. A lot of people don't know, but the carbon fumes can go back into the car and cause damage to you and your family. So just a couple tips, and coming up next, we'll talk about a couple ways to prevent falls in the icy conditions. I'm Cameron Fontana. Good day, Columbus.
Well, slips and slides are a part of walking on the ice and snow, but Cameron Fontana is outside to tell us how you can avoid serious injury in the winter weather. Cameron.
Yes, Maria, you know, every year more than 1.6 million seniors end up in the emergency room because of a fall, and especially with icy conditions, the chances of slipping are even greater. So here are a few tips to stay safe with ice on the ground. First, what you'll want to do is wear shoes or boots with a non-skid sole. This means no dress shoes or flats. And you know, in the morning, because the cold freezes up your muscles, take a couple minutes a day, stretch your limbs, loosen your muscles up. Finally, it's just a good idea to stay inside. You know, make arrangements for someone to shovel and salt your driveways and walkways. Professional caregivers or even family members can also assist with to-do items, such as bringing in the mail and or picking up groceries. So just a couple things you can do to stay safe on the ice. And coming up on Fox 28 at 8:05, I'll be sharing some ways you can stay warm and safe inside your home. Cameron Fontana, good day, Columbus.
And as these record-breaking temperatures begin to set in, frostbite is something we all need to be aware of.
Absolutely. Cameron Fontana is in the newsroom with what you need to know to keep your family safe. Good morning, Cameron.
Good morning, guys. You know, serious weather like this can mean serious injuries if we're not careful, one of the most common being frostbite. Now, you'll want to periodically check your most vulnerable extremities, you know, your ears, nose, hands, and feet, for the following stages of frostbite. First and foremost, medical experts say if your hands appear to be blue or pink, start immersing them in water that is warm, not hot. Now, if you're feeling a painful sensation, the skin is red and responds normally to pressure, these are signs of frost nip, the very first stage of frostbite, but no permanent damage. Next, if you're experiencing numbness, white or grayish yellow skin, and the skin feels a little bit soft, these are signs of superficial frostbite and needs medical attention immediately. Finally, the worst form is deep frostbite. Again, the symptoms include numbness, white or grayish yellow skin, but the skin feels waxy, unusually firm, and eventually will turn black. In any case, if you don't see improvement or your pain isn't getting any better and you still have discoloration, get medical attention immediately. Now, next at 9:05, I'll be sharing some tips to help keep your plumbing safe in the extreme freeze. Live in the newsroom, I'm Cameron Fontana. Good day, Columbus.
Definitely something that we need to watch out for.
And here at Good Day Columbus, we are working to get you ready for when this Arctic blast hits.
We certainly are. Cameron Fontana continues our team coverage from the newsroom with ways to keep your plumbing safe in these record temperatures. Good morning, Cameron.
Good morning, guys. You know, we talked with some plumbers and they say their business jumps 25% in the winter. Now, their advice for you, make sure your walls and pipes are well insulated. They also say to make sure your garden hose is drained and not hooked up to the spigot by your house, something many people overlook. And finally, running water is vital in this kind of weather. So to stop your pipes from freezing, go around your house, turn on every faucet just so it's dripping very slightly. Keeping the water moving will definitely help prevent those frozen pipes. Now, all morning long, I'll be bringing you vital information to prevent danger and keep you warm during the storm. And coming up next, I've got what you need to know to keep your pets safe from frostbite. So important information live from the newsroom. I'm Cameron Fontana. Good day, Columbus.
Yeah, thanks, Cam. We need to do that today at our house. We are dedicated to keeping you and your entire family safe when these record temperatures hit.
Absolutely. And also that includes your pets. Cameron Fontana is joining us from the newsroom with a few tips to keep them safe.
Hey guys, right here. Oh, hey, this is Nelson, who really is a love bug this morning. And you know what? A lot of people don't know that our furry friends here are just as susceptible to some of the harm from the weather that's coming up as we are. So the Humane Society gave us some tips that we want to share with you to keep your pets safe during the winter. First, the best thing is, even if they're outside dogs, the best thing is to bring them inside at least for the night for the freezing air coming up. But if they are going to be outside, you want to insulate an area with straw. Now, a garage or non-insulated dog igloo only protects them from the wind, and a blanket will only get wet and cold. Next, you want to look for signs of stress, fatigue, and obviously frostbite, especially if there's consistent lifting of the paws or discomfort standing for periods of time. If they have trouble walking, it's usually a bad sign. You know, finally, when temperatures are as freezing as they will be, only take your dogs out for a quick potty break. A walk can expose them to the cold air for too long. So remember, keep your pet friends, you know, safe this winter. It's going to be a cold one. And outside the newsroom, I'm Cameron Fontana. This is Nelson with Good Day Columbus. Oh, ready to eat the treat with me?